Now let's go ahead and check out what all things we need to do this particular task in the motorcycle. First we have the ring spanner or the ring wrench. In the case of CB, we need a 8 mm ring wrench to do the task. Next we have a syringe which is readily available in any medical store. We need this for sucking out the old oil from the brake oil reservoir. Okay, I have this multi-purpose grease from Manol. This is a very good quality grease available in the market. I might need this for certain places while doing the job. And I have the TVS .4 brake oil with me. You could use your own brake oil, your own choice of brake oil, no problem over there. Of course, we need a Phillips head screwdriver for opening up the lid of the brake oil reservoir, for which I have my toolbox as standby with me. So, and also I had made this particular thing, which is very much an essential item for this particular job. Now this is just a 500 ml cold drink bottle, on top of which I had made 2 holes. In one, this particular pipe, it's also available in any hardware store. This one is going to go and sit on top of the valve so that I could see if there's any air bubble which is there in the brake system when I'm going to bleed the brake system. And also it helps in avoiding creating a mess in the floor while I drain out all the brake oil. So yep guys, let's not waste any more time. Let me just go downstairs beside my motorcycle, set up the tripod, set up the camera and everything, and start the procedure. Okay, stay tuned. So hello once again guys, I am in front of my motorcycle now, and as you could see, this is the brake oil reservoir. And to be honest, these 2 screws that you see over here, these are Phillips head, but they are very prone to going bad. Okay, especially when you try to unscrew them out, they are very prone to going bad. So you have to be very careful. If you find it to be too tight for your screwdriver to unscrew them, there is a particular way through which you could do it. That is, you just need to stick your screwdriver over here and hammer it a little bit from the top. Okay, a little bit, not a lot of it. Don't put a lot of pressure, just hammer it a little bit and then try to turn it. Go ahead and unscrew them. So there are 2 of them. And then gently lift the top lid, under which you would find another cap over here, plastic cap, which could be a little bit tight. So please take your time over here, because we do not want to spill brake oil on parts of the motorcycle. It would definitely damage the paint over there. So once this is out, we have another rubber cap over here, so we also need to lift that up and keep all these 3 things aside in a clean place. We would need that after the procedure is complete. Now, as per my knowledge, this brake oil could do for another maybe 5 to 8,000 kilometers more, but for the sake of sharing the information with you all, I would go ahead and I would replace the oil in any which way. Okay, this syringe over here, okay, this is going to suck out all the oil which is there over here in the reservoir. Now you have to understand that there is oil inside this hose as well as the caliper. A little bit of the oil is there in the caliper as well, and also in the ABS motor module. So we need to take care of that as well. So first let me just suck out all the oil which is there in the reservoir. So that's it. And now I would drop this oil inside the bottle that I had showed you previously. So this is a very good time to clean the inside of the reservoir over here if it is dirty. In my case, it is not that dirty, but if in your case, if your motorcycle has done a lot more kilometers, in your case, if the oil went yellow to black, so in that case you could definitely go ahead and clean the inside of this oil reservoir over here with the help of a cloth. Do not use any kind of solvent, do not use anything else, just a clean small piece of cloth you could use to just tuck in over here and clean the inside. Okay, be careful about the components over there. There's a particular small lid spring over here which could come out, so just have a look at it how it is there seated. So if you if you take it out by any chance, you could just put it back in its place as it is. Okay, the first bit of the oil, which is the most part of it, is stays in the reservoir. So we had already, taken it out with the help of the syringe, and now it's time for the oil which is there in the hoses, right? So how to get rid of that? So my policy, my way of doing things over here is that I am going to add oil over here, and then I'm going to slowly bleed the system out. So the new oil is going to go in the place of the old oil, and the old oil is going to get pushed out of the system through the bleeder valve. So that's the theory over here. Like I said, I'm going to use TVS brake for .4 brake fluid. So let me now open it for y'all. Don't open this completely, okay? Just make 2 small holes over here. During this procedure, do not press this lever. Don't touch it at all. So let me now pour in fresh oil into the brake reservoir, and once it is full, we will hold the procedure over there. And now let me change the angle of the camera and take you all to the caliper of the motorcycle, the brake caliper, where we are going to start bleeding the brakes. I'm going to unscrew the valve, and then the old oil which is there on the brake hose and the caliper is going to come out, and the new oil is going to take its place. And while it is doing so, the level of this container is going to go down, and I have to monitor that, and I have to add oil accordingly. The moment it goes down, I got to add more oil. It's going to go more down, I'm going to add more oil. That's the story in loop which would be there over here. Okay. So yes, as you could see guys, this is the brake caliper, right? And this is the bleeder valve in the case of this particular caliper. And I had now this is the reason why we need the ring wrench. Okay, if you use a open head spanner, then this particular fitment won't be possible, right? So we need the ring wrench, and on top of it I had installed the hose pipe over here. Just make sure the hose pipe, if you source it from anywhere, you need to get the proper size so that it is a snug fit for the valve over here. Okay, that's something which you got to figure out. Now it has entered this bottle over here, so whatever oil which is going to come out, I would be able to see it in this transparent hose over here, what the oil which comes out, and it is not going to create a mess. It's going to go inside that bottle. Okay, so this is the valve over here, and now I'm slowly going to unscrew the valve. So it could be a little jam in some cases, right? I cracked it, and if you could figure out, if you could focus this place, oil is coming out slowly. Maybe it won't be possible for you all to understand, for you all to figure it out, but for the first few minutes, now see guys, it's a very time consuming process. Okay, you need a lot of time for this particular job. So as you could see, oil is coming out over here. So, and you got to monitor the reservoir on top. The oil level goes down, you got to add more oil over there. So this is basically the old oil which is coming out of the system. So for the first few minutes, we are just going to monitor the oil level and add oil in the reservoir. That's the job for the first few minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to skip that obviously for the sake of the video. I'm just telling you this. So if you could see guys, I am just doing nothing. The valve is open. I just added oil once in the reservoir, and just have a watch in the bottle if you can. Oil is being dripped inside, right? So it's coming out drop by drop, and that is the way it is going to come out, drop by drop. Okay, So what this is doing, this is automatically bringing out all the old oil which is there in the system, and which is getting, you know, replaced with the new oil which we are adding in the reservoir. I am not pressing the lever, I am not doing any other thing. I am just monitoring the oil in the reservoir. The moment it is about to reach the bottom of the reservoir, I'm adding more oil to it. So we are going to add around 4 to 5 tubs of water, 4 to 5 tubs of brake oil in the reservoir. Okay, just monitor the oil in the reservoir. When it goes to the bottom, just add more oil to it. It's coming out drop by drop, guys. That's how it is. That's how the system works. The oil comes out drop by drop. So as I said, you need some good amount of time over here to do this particular task if you're doing it yourself. So that's the 4th tub which I just filled in the reservoir with the brake oil, which is now going in. And I suppose 90% of the brake fluid, the old brake fluid which was there in the system, the hose pipe, the ABS module and the caliper over here, 90% of those oils are out in this bottle. Okay, without me having to do anything else other than just, you know, releasing the valve over here, attaching this pipe and adding oil in the reservoir again and again. So now you could ask me a question over here, that what if, you know, we make a mistake and we don't add oil on the reservoir and it just, you know, empties out. So what that is going to do is that is going to introduce air bubbles in the system, which is even going to stop the flow of this oil in the, you know, bottle. And then there's a little bit of tedious process which gets involved. Now this is the 5th tub that I am adding, and the last one. So yep, as I was saying, in that case we have to, you know, start bleeding the system by compressing the brakes and bleeding out the airs that we introduced in the system through the, you know, reservoir. So I would show that in a moment. I would show the bleeding process, so stay tuned. And now it's time to close the valve. Okay, so by turning it clockwise, we are closing the valve. Now you do not need a lot of pressure over here. Okay, just close it with a little bit of pressure, and so this basically completes the job of replacing the brake fluid in the system. If you are only interested in replacing the brake fluid in the system, this is the end of it. Okay, and now I would continue the video, and from here you would get to know how brake is being bled. Now it's a very good practice to, you know, bleed the brakes a little bit after you replace the brake fluid. That's a good practice, no doubt. But sometimes even without the need of replacing the brake fluid of your motorcycle, there is a need of, you know, bleeding the brakes. So in that case also this particular process is going to be very helpful. So yep, now let me start the process of bleeding the brake. So yes guys, now that the replacement of the brake fluid is completed successfully, the final thing which you need to check is whether the brake is, you know, holding on perfectly. I mean, it's not going, the lever is not going in completely. So the feel of the brake that I could feel over here is just perfect. Basically I do not need to bleed the brakes at the moment, but in your case, after doing this particular procedure, if you feel that the brakes have become a bit spongy, then that means that there is air bubbles inside the brake system. I mean the brake hose. There are air bubbles inside the brake hose. So in that case we need to bleed the brakes. So I'm now going to show you all the procedure of how I bleed the brakes of the motorcycle. Okay, so there is a two-step procedure over here which goes on. Okay, the first one is you need to release the valve over there. So I'm going to turn it anti-clockwise a little bit. It's going to release the valve. The second procedure, the second step is you got to press this lever completely. Okay, and keeping that pressed, you got to, you know, tighten up the valve. I mean tighten the bleeder valve. Now this is a procedure which is going to stay in loop now, and that's the way you got to bleed the brake. Okay, so let me just start it. So first, as I said, you got to undo the valve, and second step you got to press the lever completely. and then again tighten the valve. Okay, and after you're done tightening the valve, leave the lever. Okay, now I'm going to repeat this procedure 2-3 times. Release the valve, press the lever, tighten the valve, release the lever. Okay, again release the valve, press the lever, tighten the valve, and again release the lever. So what this does, this forces the oil in the system to come out of the valve. If at all any air bubbles is in the system, it's going to come out through this particular hose over here. If you monitor it, I cannot show it through the camera to you all. While doing this particular procedure, this 2 or 3 step procedure, if there is air in the system, you would find it coming out through this hose over here. You would find bubbles in this particular oil which is there in the hose. So since I do not find any sponginess or any misbehavior of the lever over here, so I do not find any point in bleeding the brakes again and again, since it is absolutely fine. But this is basically the procedure. Okay, 2-step procedure. Release the valve, press the lever, close the valve, release the lever. Okay, you got to repeat this again and again and again and again until you feel the proper feel of the lever over here, and without any sponginess or without any misbehavior of the lever. Okay, and in your case, if you have to repeat this process again and again, you also have to monitor the oil over here in the reservoir, because in the process of these steps of bleeding the brakes, the oil in the reservoir is going to go down. Okay, and it goes down sometimes very, very rapidly. So you got to monitor it after every step, after completing every 3 steps. And if it goes to the bottom, you got to add oil. So add oil, release the valve, press the lever, tighten the valve, and release the brake lever. Again, unscrew the valve, press the lever, tighten the valve, release the lever. And gradually, by doing this, you would find slowly that pressure is building up. I mean, if at all a lot of air is in the system, even after tightening the valve, you would find the lever going and touching the accelerator, the grip completely, and there is no pressure at all. If that is the case, then there is a lot of air in the system, and you got to repeat this procedure again and again and again until you feel the pressure in the lever being built up. And once the pressure builds up, it is going to take just 4 to 5 rounds of that particular bleeding steps to completely for the pressure to completely build up and come to the lever, and everything is going to be normal. Mind you, if there is a lot of air in the system, it might take more than 50 or 60 rounds of bleeding this particular procedure, step-by-step procedure, for the complete pressure to build up and return to its stock condition. So you have to keep that in mind. If at all there is any air in the system, a lot of air in the system, and to bleed the air out of the system, you need some good amount of time to repeat this procedure again and again to bring it back to normal, bring it back to its normal working condition. So that basically is the procedure of bleeding the brakes, guys. And once it is done, okay, once you're happy with the feel of the brake and everything is just fine, the next step is checking the valve over here one final time, giving it a little bit of more tightness, a tad bit, and that should be fine. And over here I should mention one more thing. If you are tinkering around with the valve of the caliper, the brake valve of the caliper, after the procedure is done, there is going to be a little bit of oil seepage for the next couple of days, or maybe a week or a fortnight, maybe 15 days. There could be seepage, and that is absolutely normal. What you should look what you should look around for is whether the feel of the lever is changing while you ride the motorcycle. If it does, then there is some sort of some problem in the total complete bleeding mechanism. Maybe the valve, maybe the oil over here is not proper at its level, so you got to check that. So apart from that, there is going to be a little bit of seepage of oil in the valve area for the next couple of days. So that's absolutely normal. You do not need to worry about it. Okay. And after securing this particular valve one final time, you got to check the oil in the reservoir one final time and top it up if required, which is there in my case. So I would go ahead and I would top that up a little bit. And since the brake pads are absolutely new, so I can afford to top it up till the level which is there over here, which I would show you in some time. So once that is done, you can go ahead, you can shut the lid over here and put all the screws and everything, and the thing will be pretty much done. So let me now change the angle of the camera and close the lid. And before that, I'm going to show you what exactly is the level which you should maintain inside the reservoir. Okay, stay tuned. So yes guys, as you could see, I had filled the reservoir, the brake oil reservoir, up till a limit. Now you would find a particular line or a particular mark is there inside the caliper. So you need to fill the oil up till that particular line. That's a particular shape of the caliper which is made like that in order to denote the actual level up till which you should fill the brake oil. Now this is only if the brake pads are absolutely new, because you got to understand, the more the brake pad wears off, the level of the oil goes down. So that is the reason I waited so long for my new brake pads to go in, so that I get the perfect calculation of the brake oil. Okay, that is the procedure which you should follow. If you're planning to change the oil of your brake fluid, you should do it only after you change the brake pads. I mean, only after new brake pads are sitting inside the brake caliper. So that is the reason this mark is there. So new brake pads in the system, I mean in the caliper, new brake oil, and this is the level which you should follow. Okay. Now that being done, and that being said, now it's now time to put on the cap over here. There are three things that go in over here. So in your case also, you might find this to be a kind of deformed like this. Okay, so you just need to press this like this. I just would like to clean it a little bit. And you could very well bring it back to form. There shouldn't be any problem. Just wiggle it a little bit and it's going to come back to its original form. So after that, you just need to place it over here just like this. Now this is the reason that leveler is given, guys. If you had filled up the reservoir up till its brim, then if you place this particular thing over here, the oil is going to overflow out of it. So that should not be the thing. So ideally that level is given so that you could follow that and fill the reservoir up till that mark only, provided the brake pads are absolutely new. Next in line, this white color plastic is going to go and sit. So, and now the last one, the lid. Now there are writings on top of it, so make sure that you put it in the right way. From your riding position, you should be able to read this, read the writings on top of it. So that is the correct side. Okay, it should be facing that side, not this side. These screws are also available locally. You could, I mean, if you end up screwing them very badly, so you need to replace them. So you could try and source it out from your local parts store. It should be available. If it isn't, then you got to go to the company Honda and ask them about it. But if you source it from Honda, then it could be a tad bit costly, on the costlier side. I once had bought these from the Honda outlet, and it costed me around 100 rupees each. So you got to understand that these are not cheap, these are pretty costly. So, and you do not need to tighten them a lot. Okay, it's just holding this cover. It's not doing any other robust stuff over here. So just a little bit of tightness is okay. And one last thing is there, that is you need to check the brakes one last time for proper, action. And also lift the motorcycle, front of the motorcycle, manually with your hand and rotate the wheels to check whether free wheel rotation is there or not. There should be good enough free wheel rotation, okay, and the brake feel should be absolutely normal. So yes guys, once everything is done, you got to make sure about few things. That is, as you could see, I have removed the bottle, I have removed the hose pipe and everything, and there's a particular cap over here which you could see, right? So you first got to give it a little bit of cleaning. I mean, there could be, or there must be certain some amount of drops of brake fluid over here. You do not want that to be lying around over here, so just give it a little bit of rubbing with a cloth and then put this cap back on. Okay, now as I said, there could be slight seepage of oil over here for the next few kilometers, maybe 100-200 kilometers. That's absolutely normal, as long as the feel of the brake lever doesn't change. Okay, so after you're done with that, you got to just give one final check whether these bolts are secured, these screws are secured. That is done, and you got to rub this place as well, if at all any brake oil droplets are there. And last but not the least guys, I forgot to mention this. I should have mentioned this in the beginning of the video. That is, before starting this procedure, you need to cover up the fuel tank with any kind of old rags or newspaper or anything. I did not do that since I have been doing this for a very long time now, and I am very careful about particular stuff while doing this particular job in the motorcycle, so I do not end up spilling oil here and there. In your case, if you're doing it for the first time, it could be the case that you spill some amount of oil in the fuel tank or any other parts of the motorcycle, and brake oil being extremely corrosive could corrode the paint and spoil the painted surfaces. So make sure that you cover all such places with old rags or newspaper before starting the whole procedure. So there you have it guys, the complete procedure of replacing the brake fluid of the motorcycle. I hope you liked the video. I hope I was able to share some information over here. Do not try to do this at home by yourself if you do not have the proper tools and if you do not have the proper experience of doing it, since doing so could end up fatal in the road. Please have it done from someone who is an expert in doing all these stuffs, or take it to the authorized service center. It is a very inexpensive stuff to do. I just showed it in my video just for sharing the information. Take it as an information, or take it as a knowledge, or take it as an entertainment. But if you are not confident enough, do not do this at home by yourself. Okay guys, so that being said, please do hit the like button if you like this video, and share this video with your friends and family. And if you're new to this channel, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification icon beside it, so that you do not miss any update that I put up in my channel henceforth. Okay, please do have a very good day ahead guys. Bye bye.